For so many of us in India, owning our own property isn't just some financial goal, it's a dream we've had our whole lives. But let's be real, figuring out how to make that dream happen can feel, well, impossible. So where do you even begin? Let's build that roadmap together, right now.
So you've got the dream, right? Maybe you've even started putting some money aside, but the path forward just seems foggy. What's the very first step? How much do you really need? And with so many options, where on earth should you even begin looking?
And hey, you are definitely not alone in feeling that way. That's exactly why we've put this explainer together. We've actually teamed up with the experts at realestateindia.com, India's trusted property portal, to create a clear, step-by-step guide to help you on this incredibly exciting journey.
All right, so let's start at the very beginning. We're going to tackle the two biggest questions that every single first-time buyer has. First, why should I even do this? And second, how much money do I actually need to get started?
So why real estate? Well, for starters, unlike stocks or crypto, it's a real physical asset you can actually see and touch. And in India, it has an incredible track record as a wealth creator, but here's the real magic, the double advantage. Not only can the property's value go up over time, but it can also put money in your pocket every month through rent. The key thing to remember, this isn't about getting rich quick, it's a long-term play.
Okay, let's talk about the biggest hurdle that stops most people dead in their tracks. It's this idea, this myth, that you have to be a millionaire, that you need crores and crores of rupees just to get in the game.
But that's just not true. For most of us, the barrier to entry is so much lower than you'd think. Let's break down what the real numbers actually look like.
So this number? This is a realistic 20% down payment for a really solid apartment in many of India's top cities. Now, is it still a lot of money? Absolutely. But it's a clear, achievable target, and it's a world away from needing crores, making this whole dream feel, actually possible.
Okay, so once you've figured out your why and you've got your budget in mind, the real fun begins, the hunt. And this is where the single most important rule in all of real estate comes into play.
You've heard it a million times, right? And for good reason, it's completely true. The location you pick will have the biggest, and biggest, impact on your investment's future value. So what makes a great location in India today?
Here's a little secret. For a minute, stop thinking like someone buying a home to live in and start thinking like an investor. You're looking for clues about the future. Is a new metro line planned? A new airport or highway? Are big IT companies setting up shop? These are the signals that a good location is about to become a great one.
So here's your research playbook, broken down into 3 simple steps. First, find those areas with new infrastructure projects coming up. Second, go online and verify those projects on the official government websites. And third, to really understand what this means for property prices, use a powerful tool like realestateindia.com to get deep market analysis and make a decision you're truly confident in.
Okay, now for the part that, let's be honest, can feel pretty intimidating. All the legal stuff and the paperwork. But don't think of this as a chore. Think of it as the single most important step to protect your hard-earned money.
And look, I'm going to be really serious here for a second. Rushing through the legal checks or trying to cut corners here, that is the #1 reason people have regrets and lose money. Don't let that be you. Think of this as your absolute, non-negotiable checklist. Make sure the property title is crystal clear. Check if there are any lawsuits against it. Find out who the developer is and what their reputation is like. And honestly, the most important tip I can give you, hire a good lawyer. Whatever they charge is a tiny price to pay for complete peace of mind.
Now, it's not all just about playing defense. There are some huge financial upsides here, too. If you take out a home loan, the government actually gives you some powerful tax breaks. You can claim up to 1.5 lakhs on your principal under Section 80C and up to 2 lakhs on the interest you pay under Section 24B. That's a serious amount of savings every single year.
All right, you've got the vision, you've got your budget, you've got the legal side covered. Now let's just do a quick lightning round of the 4 most common traps that first-time buyers fall right into.
Oh, this is a big one. It's so easy to walk into a gorgeous show flat with the perfect furniture and lighting and just fall in love. But remember, you're not buying the decor, you're buying the property. You have to focus on the boring but important stuff, like the location, the floor plan, and the build quality.
You have got to remember this. The price you see on the brochure is never the final price. Never. You have to factor in stamp duty, registration, legal fees, and a bunch of other charges. A really safe rule of thumb is to just budget an extra 8 to 10% on top of the property price for all these extras. Banks might offer you a huge loan. and it can be really tempting to take it all, but that can put a massive strain on your life. A much smarter guideline is to keep your home loan EMI below, say, 30 to 35% of your monthly take-home pay. That leaves you a nice, comfortable buffer for everything else life throws at you.
Seriously, one visit to the property is just not going to cut it. You need to go there at different times of the day, see it on a weekday, see it on a weekend, check out the commute to your office, talk to people who already live nearby. The more homework you do up front, the happier you'll be in the long run.
So, we have covered a ton of ground, the why, the how much, the where, and what not to do. This all brings us to the core philosophy, the big idea, that should guide you as you officially start your journey.
So what's the big takeaway that ties this all together? It's really this simple. Start small. You don't need to buy a palace for your first property. Think long-term. Give your investment at least 7 to 10 years to grow. And most importantly, stay curious. Keep educating yourself because the market is always changing.
Look, the journey from being a dreamer to being an owner, it's a marathon, not a sprint. But you know what?